Hey guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. You're tuned into IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. A little bit late tonight. I know it's 12:31 a.m., but I always promise to get these out to you before I go to sleep. So definitely want to share this with you guys, and hopefully you'll appreciate this great content that I am bringing you. If you're new here, well, just launch your camera out for me. Point over the QR code like so. Touch the ellipse. You'll get my link tree. If you're not watching us, but you're listening to us only like on an audio podcast, then go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, fantastic, fabulous creations. Whether you're watching us at 12:31 a.m., 12:31 p.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 4 a.m., 4 p.m., potato, whenever you choose to watch. Thank you so much for making Inspirations for Your Life a daily part of your day. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it, shall we? Our master topic, understanding the whys of life and how to choose a path. Series 2, Show 32. Means we're second year, Show 32, episode number 5, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, so definitely some great stuff there. And we have, when I tell you, an amazing, amazing show, we have an amazing show. I mean, absolutely an amazing show. And so I think you guys are going to really appreciate tonight because a lot of times people, they get stuck. And the reason they get stuck is because they just don't know what's going on. And I think this happens because a lot of times people get a little bit they get a little fearful of, what's happening. And so, what I want to tell you is that tonight we're going to explore again more about the whys of life, right? The whys of life. And you might be saying, hey, John, what the heck is a why of life? Well, first of all, I'm not talking about the why that's in the alphabet. That's the first thing I would say. I'm not talking about the why that's in the alphabet. And so I'm talking about the why that we have in life for making choices, a fork in the road, uh, an option, like a garden faucet we talked about before, right? But garden faucets can go left, they can go right, they can go totally stopped, and then they can go both directions. In life, we have to make a choice which way we want to go, and we want to make that choice logically. Um, we want to do it in an educated fashion because if we don't, that cause will lead to some bad effects that we're not going to be very, very happy with. So that is really, really important. And so if we understand that, then I think you can appreciate the fact that um, making a good decision is very important. So you might be asking the question, hey, John, how the heck do we weigh? How do we weigh these whys in life? Well, is there a scale? How do you use it? Well, there isn't a scale that you can actually put them on, physically, but there is a scale thanks to Benjamin Franklin. But before we get into what that is, he came up with the Benjamin Franklin decision making method. And he came up with this because he had a good friend. And this was in 1772. He got a letter from his friend, Joseph Priestley, who is an English scientist. And he was on the fence between staying in his current position as the minister of the famed Unitarian Church in Mill Hill Chapel in Leeds, and moving on to a more lucrative position as a general assistant to the Earl of Shelburne. And so he was on the fence with this. And Benjamin Franklin came up with a method to help him understand. Um, Basically, gave him a simple set of instructions to use some mathematics using the pros and the cons. Now, what you guys may know about, if you've heard about his thing before, it's pretty cool, is that when we think about the pros and the cons, right, we can obviously find out whether something is good or not. However, what we have to do is simplification, right? Just like in algebra, we have to simplify. If it's let's say this is an 8, uh, you know, 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 8 4 times. We have to simplify it. So, same thing has to happen here. If something on this left side is equal to the right side, then we cross them out. So, we had him take a piece of paper and he drew a line down the center. Then he drew a line from the top left to the right, and he put plus on one side, minus on the other side. And then what he did is he actually asked him to write down all the positive reasons for why he should take this particular job, and he did that. And he asked him to write all the negative reasons to why why he shouldn't take this job. And so, he went through this, and then, he says, "You know what? When you can't think of anymore, put it down for a little while and come back, but spend a week doing this." So this way, you can flush everything out because we all know that when we sit down, whether we're writing or whatever we're doing, we don't always get everything that we want when we sit down. We just don't. It just doesn't get all flushed out. So it's always best to come back. So he did this, and then he said, when you've got an idea on the one side that has an equal weight of something on the right side, cross it out. Even if it's a 1 to 1 or a 1 to 3, whatever it is, cross it out if they're an equal weight. And then when you're all done, you look at the one that has more on it, and that's going to be the one that you choose. And strangely enough, after Benjamin Franklin had given him this technique, which is pretty amazing, he had just come up with it. He came up with the answer. Priestley accepted the position, and science never looked back. So, in life, when we need to make decisions, we have to do it with a approach that's going to be the best for all concerned. Sometimes we make a decision because of our emotions. And I always say in business, we can't make decisions just about our emotions because if we do, then it might not be good for us financially. It might not be good for us resource wise. We have to look at something. If you're firing somebody in the company, like, oh, I can't fire that person. They have have 2 kids or they're a single parent. You can't worry about that. I told somebody today in a meeting that I was at, look, I don't want to be nasty, but what I want to tell you is I am not looking to have people on my team that are going to be half good or that are going to be looking for excuses. Okay. Or people on my team that are just expecting that I'm just going to lift them up all the time. I want the best people on my team that are going to deliver for me and be gracious that I've given them a shot to be on the team. If there's people on my team and they have an ego and they're like, oh, you have to do this for me, you have to do that for me, might be time to say goodbye to them. Even with my interns, I had one just the other day that wasn't really cutting the mustard. And so what I usually do with the interns is I don't like to fire them. I usually let them figure out that it's not working. And usually after a week, if they're still like not doing anything, I'll reach out and say, hey, what are we doing? And then when they realize that they're behind the 8 ball and that they can't do it, I finally realize that I can't do this. And it's because they haven't fully committed to doing what they've accepted in their mind. They have really not committed to that. They might have committed on paper, but they haven't committed with their mind and body. When they start to realize, oh shoot, I'm really nowhere with this. And so what happens is they'll be like, I've decided, I wish you all the best, and I've decided to move on, which is actually what I wanted in the whole place anyway. But when the student actually leaves on their own accord, it works really well. Okay. And they feel good about it. It's a good handoff. But sometimes you can't do those things. But you can never make a decision, ladies and gentlemen, based on emotions. If you do, you will be sorry. You could have loss of resources, loss of other like things like money, people, relationships, supplies. Okay. And these are things that when we get these whys in life, we have to understand how do we actually respond to a why in life? It's not hard, but as we get comfortable with these whys, these forks in the road, these decisions we have to make, it becomes easier. Now, when we first get them, a lot of people get anxious, they get nervous, they're afraid, oh my gosh, if I make the wrong decision, what's going to happen to me? And if you make a wrong decision, you're going to learn from that decision and you're not going to make that kind of decision again, right? And I will tell you that this might be the hardest thing for you to understand is that you're saying, I have to make this huge decision, but yet I don't know how to make the decision. If you made all of your decisions based on emotion, let's say you are a manager of the company or the owner of a company, and you're making decisions on whether to hire or fire somebody based on the emotions of what you feel. See, that's not enough. Okay. That might give you a tip to maybe check some of their other stuff to see if they're on track, right? The emotion might be something that alerts you, but it shouldn't be the be all that says, okay, gee, this person's not working out. I can usually tell, like, if somebody's missing deadlines or if they're not doing things right, that, hey, this isn't working out. And I usually don't say, hey, it's not working. I'm like, hey, where are we? What are we doing? And then I get people that just, I think they feel that, you know, it's going to work for them. But then when they see, you know what? I'm not even close. And you can kind of tell the people that are not going to work out. It's one thing to help somebody if they want help, but it's another if they just decide to respond like once a week and they don't get their projects done. That's not somebody you want on your team. I build A teams, and A teams are all about the best people I can get for that particular position. Our A teams help our company become an A plus empire. But having a great company or a great organization starts with good people, but it starts with a good vision. It starts with a good mission. And then you can't let your emotions get in the way. We're like, oh, I don't want to fire this person. I hate to do this to them. No, they're not working out. So the Benjamin Franklin decision-making method is a pretty amazing tool. And like I said, Benjamin Franklin used it. In fact, we're going to talk later in the week. We're going to talk about how to use the Benjamin Franklin technique in the sales process to close a sale. But I'm not going to tell you that until Friday. So you're going to have to hang around until not just tonight, but also on Friday. Now, when we think about decisions, when we think about the fact that our decision can have a consequence, let's talk about this. I'm on a trip. I'll give you a perfect example. You're on a trip and you're in the car and you need to make a turn. The question is, do you go left? Do you go right? You have to make a turn. You can't go straight. You have to go left. You have to go right. So which way do you go? I think I go left. But then 2 or 3 hours later, you realize, oh, shoot, I think I went the wrong direction. Now, other people learn about this, and you have to suddenly go back 2 or 3 hours, and then the extra hour that you had to make anyway. So when we make a wrong decision, it can cause anything from a minor blip to something that could be really catastrophic. Something that could overturn or even break the bonds of trust that we have spent years to build. I said this before, ladies and gentlemen. If you spend days, months, years building trust and you screw it up, you can destroy it like that. So I don't want to frighten people with forks in the road or choices they have to make, but we do have to be responsible. We don't want to make a fleeting decision in like 30 seconds or a couple minutes. We also don't want to take 7 days to make the decision, right? Want to take a couple days, fine. We want to be efficient at it. So what Benjamin Franklin had taught Priestley, he took like 3 or 4 days, but this was a very major decision. So I think the amount of time you take depends on the decision. So, for example, this is something that was going to affect the whole rest of his life. And so you have to realize that there can be consequences if you do it wrong. So let's say you say, gee, I made the wrong decision. What happens if I make the wrong decision? Well, it's probably going to cost me some money out of pocket, or I'm probably going to lose these staff members, or I might lose a client, or I might actually get nothing done today. So those are things you have to ask yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, been a pleasure, been an honor to be with you this fantastic, amazing evening. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel. Definitely comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, share this with everyone on social media. And of course, go to believemeachieve.com. Click on the link, help keep our content free. Make the choice to buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we're going to be grateful for those pennies and dollars, or investments in new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping motivational content to empower you to not only make the right decisions, but to have the confidence and to succeed on your path to your successes. Have yourself an amazing night, everyone, or morning, and we'll talk to you real soon.